Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In.
So 21, if 19 was the start of the Ruthless Aggression era, and 20 is kind of what gave the Internet Darling workhorses their title runs. This is the Ruthless Aggression to a T Mania, because it really had the foundation for two faces of that era who are still doing great shit today, and John Cena and Batista. But starting off here, we did have this is kind of, I think, the start of when they first started doing those like pre-show battle royals, which they started doing like pretty much like every Mania, it seemed like, before they turned it into the Andre one. Booker T won it right here. Then on the main show, we have Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, which, granted, I love SmackDown in the Ruthless Aggression era, and these two guys had great chemistry. But their program in the summer of 2005, I was not a fan of. I think this match was one of their best matches. Then we had the very first Money in the Bank ladder match. Edge won it, defeating Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian, Kane, and Shelton Benjamin. So quite the game changer right there. Undertaker defeated Randy Orton. This is one where I actually thought the Undertaker was going to possibly lose the streak at, just because of how Orton had been built the past couple of years. Trish Stratus versus Chrissy Hemme went a whopping 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels, which many people consider to be the best match of the night. It's probably the best. I actually think my favorite, though, is probably the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then, of course, we have Aki Bono defeating the Big Show in a
sumo match. I forgot about that.
As soon as you said, "Oh God," I knew you were going to say you forgot about it.
Will
we had
AEW be able to provide such a high-profile match for wife?
I mean, he'll need to if he wants to, defeat people who aren't as NXT stars.
World Sumo Champion to face him at AEW Double or Nothing. No, they can't.
Yeah.
That Joshi
don't be shocked. You remember you predicted.
Oh. Then we had John Cena defeating JBL to win his first and only WWE Championship. Followed by the main event of Batista versus Triple H. I think these two guys actually had a great series of matches that summer. Starting off here and ending in their Hell in a Cell match. I think they had great chemistry that year. Way better than, of course, 2019, which was just really fucking boring. But Pete, what did you think of WrestleMania 21?
I can't really comment much on this one because I didn't watch it live, and I think I've only ever seen it once on the network. There's a couple of good matches that I'm quite interested in. When I've seen it once, it was a long time ago, so extremely vague memories of it. But Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels looks very interesting. Batista, Triple H looks good. Obviously, Undertaker, Orton. I always remember the build up to that one. That was with the where Undertaker lit the coffin on fire or something on the stage, and Orton was in the ring with his dad. And was that the one?
That would have been, I think, going towards No Mercy, maybe?
That was in No Mercy 2000.
Okay.
They had a 2-on-1 casket match at No Mercy 2005.
Got ya. So, yeah, I can't comment much on this one because I don't really remember it. But,
James, how about you?
I remember this, and you forget WrestleMania goes to Hollywood, and they did all the little gimmicks of
trailers.
Kurt Angle and
Taxi
Chris
Driver.
Hemming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, so,
And with
before
Stone-
we
yeah,
go
Stone Cold doing-
what was your favorite trailer? WrestleMania 30.
I kind of liked the Dirty Harry one. That and
It's fine.
the Taxi Driver one kind of became the most infamous, but I'd say probably Dirty Harry.
Well, we know Master Heater's favorite, so we'll just go with that one. I enjoyed Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I wouldn't say Dirty Harry was the
Go ahead.
best one.
No, go ahead, Master.
It is my own favorite, but I think the Basic Instinct one was the best.
Yes.
Yeah. Basic Scene one was good.
Stacy Keebler.
That's your favorite too, Pete?
Yeah. I actually remember those commercials.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, of course you would.
Yeah, exactly.
what about you?
Well,
Good production value.
Yeah.
I liked them all of them. Stone Cold was good with the Gladiator one for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Dirty Harry one because, of course, Undertaker. But I enjoyed the Few Good Men with JBL and John Cena. You know,
I did too.
exactly.
My only gripe with that was I destroyed the aura of kayfabe right there because it's like, oh, you're gonna have these two guys that are legit feuding but shooting a commercial.
Yeah.
I like the execution. Yeah. That's the main reason I didn't like it. If it was two guys that weren't in a program together, it would have been good.
But then again,
Cena, but they both had great deliveries.
Yeah.
it was.
But with the Undertaker doing,
I think
Go ahead.
JBL and Cena had the closest one to the actual, scene itself that you had out of those trailers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also JBL does this all the time. Like when he was defending the title versus Undertaker, they did this photo shoot where the Undertaker was looking right at him from the side, and he was like doing the whole scare thing. It's kind of like I mean, you can.
And I get you about the whole kayfabe thing, but then
You can explain it the way that they
Oh, go ahead.
they both got paid a lot of money to do it, and they said, "Okay, fine, we're fighting on Sunday anyway. Let's just go ahead."
and I just look at it. If you look at kayfabe, the Undertaker being Dirty Harry was kind of out of
Oh yeah,
it because you just see him in the suit, and it was badass. But you thinking like, this is the Undertaker, But yeah, I like the ball.
yeah. I remember I was pissed.
You okay there, Masita?
Yeah. What's that?
He's I think the Undertaker has reached him.
Yeah.
You guys can't hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Just see, I can hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, I was.
Hello,
Yeah.
Master Heater.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, I can hear you.
We'll be at this for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at the opening number of the Book of Mormon. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. I got you. WrestleMania 21. I saw this. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one last thing about the trailers. I was pissed off that they put Stone Cold and Gladiator as the opening trailer, because I don't know, for some reason I had it in my mind that they were gonna do a McMahon Family Godfather trailer. I was like, that's what they're gonna start. That's what I want. I was like, they're gonna start off with that music of dan na na na, and Vince McMahon is sitting there and everyone's kissing his hand. But alas, what can?
That would have been awesome.
Did Triple H have one?
Braveheart. Yeah.
Yes.
Braveheart.
Yeah.
They can take our lives, but they'll never
Okay,
my title.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Because I remember all them stuff with, like, I know Triple H had one. But back on topic. Saw this pay-per-view, a group of friends at a college dorm, and it was, from what I remember, it was a great pay-per-view. It was the beginning of John Cena, which I was not a fan at that point, but it was a decent match.
Neither was
I. And I thought Undertaker and Randy Orton was a great match, but someone else would get to that. I did like that he did counter the choke slam, and I thought they would let Randy get it myself. I'm like, okay, Randy's young, they push him, he's the legend killer, so he can take out the Undertaker. And cannot the Money in the Bank match was great. Edge winning it. You had had a bunch of good legends in there. Shelton Benjamin did his good spot that he got famous for there, and
Yeah.
Bray and Eddie was okay, but just nice to see Eddie now. Looking back at everything now, let's not talk about the women's title, but I did enjoy Batista defeating Triple H because it was Batista time. But I have to say the match of the night was Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. I wasn't expecting much, but if y'all can understand 10 people going on the edge of their seat, going crazy. And I remember when Kurt Angle had him that ankle lock, we was like, tap, like you go do it, shot. And it's just like, and it was an amazing experience. And just a side thing, I know they had another match, but I don't remember that second match more than I remember the first match, which I guess that's just common that the first match is always 50-50 the best match if they do more than one. But that was just, it was on fire when I actually thought Kurt was going to suplex Shawn off the apron. Because you never know. He could just flip in the air. Yeah, it was 2000.
Kurt loves that tease of the, German on the outside. He does that a lot. Like when he did,
yes,
it was fairly new. But after that, you'd see him do it in every big match he was on.
Because he can do it. You just it's up to that person gonna take that
It's
bump.
gonna be catastrophic for both of them. He's gonna hit the floor himself. It's.
Plus that match there, it was what is missing from today's brand split, that this felt like a legit dream match between two different shows. It was like legit the two best workers on each show colliding at the biggest show of the year. It was just perfect ingredients going into that one.
Yeah.
So I'll pass it on to Mohamed.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably.
Your turn, Mohamed.
Yeah. So I'll just I'll say.
How can he not hear me?
I think he's having some issues.
Oh.
Well, I'd have issues too, knowing that the Undertaker didn't put over Randy Orton that night.
I know. Shovel, burying people, young talent. Trying to say Randy was soft or something.
Will you stop? Oh wow!
There he is.
I'm in trouble. That used to be Gorilla Monsoon. Whenever I'm in trouble here. Now, just to start first, I don't know why people are hating on Trish versus Christy Hemme. I think for what it was and what's the skill set of both ladies, I think it was a perfect, little showcase.
Well, for what it was,
hating. Yeah, but less than 5 minute match. Come on now, Nasita.
Come on,
less than 5 minutes.
At that point of time, you can tell me that Christy Hemme could last more than 5 minutes with Trish Stratus.
I mean, I know I couldn't last more than 5 minutes with her.
Ba-dum-bum. See that? 10 minutes.
Oh, yes.
10 minutes. See, he got it. I like that delay reaction. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if show cannot last 5 minutes, what?
You know what? I feel you, Joe, because I think I couldn't last 3 minutes with Trish Stratus. So yeah.
Okay, can we have some decorum here, please, on this show?
Never.
Just for once.
Never.
But it did show. I feel this match was basically a showcase of Trish Stratus. Christy Hemme was just there.
Oh yeah.
It was Trish doing her best heel work. Going over, showing dominance. It was a perfect match for Trish Stratus herself. It's kind of like those old WrestleMania fillers, where Earthquake would take on Greg Valentine, but Earthquake is gonna just squash him anyways. But it goes. Also, one thing, this is the first WrestleMania I ever watched live as it happens, So, yeah, that was big for me. And after I taped it on VHS, I got, a group of guys to watch it with me from college and so forth. Again, on the replay. And
just like me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're cut from the same cloth, you and I. That's why we don't get along that much. But anyway. Just to say something, like, there's 2 segments on this WrestleMania as well. Piper's Pit with Steve Austin.
Piper's Pit.
And the other one was Eugene Hassan Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys were there, like, I'm back in Egypt, I'm watching this with a bunch of, like Arabs, Egyptians, Palestinians, Syrians guys, and Hogan comes out and beats the Arab guy. And yet when he poses, everyone is singing Real American. Like, right there in the two. That's how...
Everyone who you're hanging out with?
Yeah. That's how over the guy is. Like... once again...
Nice.
Yeah. It's... Like, it shows you how big of a character he was. Like, it's... You gotta know... Like, Hogan said this in an interview once. People might not know who Bill Clinton is in Saudi Arabia, but they know who Hogan is. And I think he's right. He's absolutely right about that. People just, love Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And... Yeah. David Arquette loved him a lot on that show, if you remember. Like, he was filming him the whole time. Eddie versus Ray was... It's probably their best, match competitively. Because
it wasn't bad, but it just...
It didn't have the story to it, but...
Yeah, it wasn't memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again...
It's to put Halloween Havoc above it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, it should be the best match they had under the WWE. But it's also a landmark for both of these guys to be at WrestleMania together, and they're the tag champions as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time 2 tag champions faced each other at WrestleMania?
Yes.
First. Yeah.
First, yes.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing.
It happens again a couple years later.
Yeah. In the main event, as well.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank, I remember everyone was so pissed off that Edge won that match.
Edge that year, as much as I was, hating what I was reading about, the whole Matt Hardy situation, I was loving how he was projecting it on TV. Because starting from Taboo Tuesday 2004 until New Year's Revolution in 2006, he just had this long journey to get to the title. And this match here, and actually the whole entire summer of 2005, just really cemented Edge as the Edge that I think of in my head. And I think this is the moment, even more so than winning the title, that really put him on that next level. Yeah,
I think so. And it also, this was the earliest, I think, interpretation of the Ultimate Opportunist, because if you watch it, he was barely in that match. Unless he was getting beat up by something like it. I think the only offensive maneuver you can remember of Edge is him, sneaking up behind Chris Benoit, whacking him with the chair, and then just going up and taking the title.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
Ultimate Opportunist.
Yeah, that's it. Speaking of Chris Benoit, one of my favorite visuals of that match is Chris Benoit just headbutting Kane into oblivion. And then Kane just, I always choose to believe that in Game World, Kane just let go because he had enough. He was like, "Okay, Chris, you got it," and he just let's go and fly out just to get away from Benoit's headbutts. Undertaker versus Randy Orton. I think this is the first time you recognize the streak as being on the line. Because 11 was the handicap match fiasco. The 12 was him returning versus Kane. No way you lose that. But this one was This one was the first. I think this was the first time someone actually particularly targets the Undertaker to beat the streak.
Because
Yeah.
And to me, this was a good story as well. Like, because they was building him up. No one can get out of RKO. He's going to destroy he's going to kill the legacy of the Undertaker. And you're like, well, he can do it. So yeah. It wasn't like, to me, the Monster of the Year thing, like a la Mark Henry from the future and stuff. This could be legit, can happen here.
Yeah, because it's kind of like also they had built the Legend Killer thing so good. Like, he beat Ric Flair in a steel cage match. He beat Shawn Michaels. So it makes sense if this guy beats the Undertaker, it's going to add to his legacy. And, your word. I'm watching it word. And kudos to Orton and Undertaker. This match was the blueprint of every competitive Undertaker match that followed it afterwards.
I agree.
Yeah. The counter to the last round.
And this one,
the whole punching on the...
Yeah, and one thing, he could just hit the RKO. That's what everybody's waiting for. Like, well, how he's going to hit this RKO? Is he going to get him? And if he does it, will the Undertaker kick out of it and stuff like that? So, yeah, it did have a lot of suspense to it.
I had almost a mini heart attack when, when Cowboy Bob Orton just hit him with that cast, and then... Can't remember, did Orton RKO him after? No, it was before, because he countered the chokeslam into the RKO.
Right after. Yeah. Yep.
Was there a legit concern that you thought he might actually lose then?
And, people, like to take the piss out of Michael Cole.
I guess he can hear you, Pete.
He was perfect in this match.
Maybe not.
I'm sorry, what was it?
No, I just said, was there a legit concern that you thought he might actually lose this one?
Yeah. I'm always concerned. Like, I was...
Oh, okay, yeah.
My apologies. I was from that point on forward, I was always concerned about the streak.
Got ya.
Yeah, I would.
So as soon as it meant something and it was implemented, that it was an actual thing, then every year going forward was always maybe this year might be the one.
Oh yeah, I would always feel better if they have the Undertaker's match as early as possible, so I can watch WrestleMania without being stressed out about the streak.
So out of all of them, when it was a thing, the streak, what match did you think this is it? He's not going to beat this opponent. Was the one match where you thought that's it? This one.
28.
28.
Yeah, that
31 was mine.
I just want to say the Undertaker fears the Boogeyman, because the Boogeyman could have beat him.
He did beat the former WWE champion on the grandest stage of them all. With his wife.
He did, see?
World Beverage.
Yes, see? I'm just mad. Undertaker versus Boogeyman. They should have made that.
No, for me the biggest concern...
Joe would have popped for it.
For me, the worst...
No way. I was not a Boogeyman person.
Not me either. Not me either.
No, flash in the pan.
I absolutely, I completely dislike the Boogeyman. I mean, nothing against him. He does his thing there, but I was like, how can you have the Undertaker and Kane on the same roster as this guy? It doesn't make sense.
No.
He got legit hard characters, and then this guy who makes it a mockery.
Chewbacca on the Forza indoor. It doesn't make sense.
Anyway, Undertaker versus Randy Orton was a pretty good match. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still thinking about the why 2 weeks on the 4th to end up. Yeah. it was all Ewoks and he was a Wookiee, and yeah, it just didn't make sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Before we move on, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels. You guys have covered it enough. It is a working piece of art. It's a working piece of art, a living piece of art. It's some sort of a piece of art. Anyway.
It's a piece of art.
Yeah, just maybe it's a regular piece of art. Best thing about it is that it didn't have. They didn't carry the grudge that they had into the match itself. The match itself was a competition, so I feel that was I feel that was good because that's what you wanted when you saw Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle was a spectacle. So
Yeah.
Piper's Pit was fun. I don't know. What did you guys think about Piper's Pit?
I loved it just because of people involved. It gave at the time I was thinking Carlito was going to get the rocket strapped to him. So that was great. Because right after that, Carlito brought back the interview segment. Like that segment kind of paved the way for Carlito bringing in the Cabana, which led the way for Miz TV, KO show, the Peep show, all of those.
Yeah.
Like this moment here kind of brought us onto the path that we're still on today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that. James, any thoughts about it?
I would agree. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you can't hear me again.
No, I can hear you. I just can't see you. That's all. I'm saying you, John Cena.
Yeah. You know, Joe. When we put this episode out there on the just name the episode. Can you hear me?
Exactly. See, there you go. See,
Nice.
see. But no, I love the match. It was great. And I also want to throw in with the parodies. We forgot Forrest Gump, and they did Pulp Fiction too. Totally forgot about Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
see?
Oh my God, Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Pulp Fiction was Eddie and Ray
and Booker T.
T.
Oh, Eddie and Booker T. Yeah.
Someone stole our pay-per-view.
Just to join the list. Yeah. And just the Taxi Driver thing. See, when I think of Taxi Driver, I only think of Batista, but this is the...
Yeah, there was like 20 different guys that did it.
It's the list of names. Heidenreich, Batista, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, Shelton Benjamin, Doug and Danny Basham, The Big Show, Candice Michelle, Carlito, Tajiri, Orlando Jordan, Joy Giovanni. Remember that? Gene Sisney, Paul London, Taz with 2 Z's, Chavo Guerrero, Hardcore Holly, Molly Holly, and Michael Cole. I'm like, wow, that's a name.
I remember really liking the Ray one, and I remember Carlito. God, I'm gonna have to look this up. I remember Carlito did something that really popped me and made me laugh when he said it. I can't remember what exactly it was.
Biting on the apple, and then the director said, "Can you lose the apple, please?" And he just spit it out and said, "That's not cool."
Exactly.
Like, I love the Big Show.
I thought it was a wonderful pay-per-view.
I love the Big Show ones. The Big Show ones were, where he first of all they had to reframe him, and then. Mm-hmm. And then the wardrobe got torn off, and then the mic fell on. When he said, when at the end he said, like, "Camera, are you ready?" Wardrobe, microphone, and he just looked at the microphone and Spike like want to try something, and then they just cut him off right before he delivered the line. He was gonna say, "Are you talking to me?" And they just said, and they just went, "WrestleMania goes Hollywood."
Exactly.
Yeah.
WrestleMania. So. Pump it up. It's just stuck in your head.
I will say it was like it's the first time that you actually see two new rising stars, get their moment at WrestleMania. It's the first time, if you WrestleMania 20 and WrestleMania 21, it was this is what made people. This what got people accustomed to. It has to be a younger guy that gets the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I agree. But I have to say is when Shawn Michaels won it. When he won his first title, that someone you never think is going to get the strap and move on and stuff like that. Maybe not newer talent, but just the passing of the torch. So this is the new person that they're going to carry the flagship going forward. So I'll go back to the Iron Man match for that when Shawn Michaels did it and stuff.
Yeah.
It just changes.
Yeah, but it didn't establish a pattern, though. The pattern got established
by
the studio.
Yeah. That was
Shawn Michaels did it, and then the next year it was The Undertaker who already had a title. Which it kind of was. The Undertaker only had a title.
And I give you that. Yeah, that's it.
Grinding and getting there.
And that's where everybody thinks it should be new guys
and then
doing it. Now they broke that, and it's still flip-flop.
Because if you think about it like this, at the time, Cena and Batista had only been on the main roster for 3 years.
Yeah.
If that was nowadays, if they didn't have the title within a year or two, people would have been saying that they were completely buried.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of I'm watching this, and when Cena won, I was like, oh my god, John Cena.
He's so worked up, we can't hear him.
Oh, for the love of God. How about...
No, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you, Massey. You're fine.
This is going to be a nightmare to edit.
That'd be fine. But yeah, John Cena won the title, Pete, with his finisher, the FU.
Back when we was allowed to call it that.
Yeah.
Can't refer to a swear word in a finishing move these days.
Right before he adjusted his attitude.
Yeah. Well, plus the STF was also the STFU.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That was.
I don't know what's more shocking, that name or that he
Styles.
No, but the shocking thing is not the name, but that John Cena had a submission finisher.
Yeah.
Did it grind your gears when he locked it in and he wouldn't even touch the guy's face? And it's like, dude, I can see that you're not even got it locked in properly. How is this guy going to tap out? It wound me up so bad.
It's a metaphor. He doesn't want them to see because they can't see him.
But Pete, this finisher. It's just a fireman carry. He literally put him in fireman carry and oops.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like a death body drop.
So technically the FD
I mean, back in the day, it was kind of supposed to be that way. Then he just flip.
So technically, the FU and the attitude adjustment, since it's a fireman's carry, it's kind of predicting playing with fire, or whatever the hell that kids film was that he did last year.
Because that's what it was. I think but it started out. It's supposed to be like a Death Valley driving. Nope, can't be dropping people on heads. So I'm just gonna put you on my back, flip you on your back. I would have been fine if that was the transitional move for the 5-knuckle suck. At least he hit somebody. I can see Joe taking a bump like that. Thanks for straightening out my back. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's supposedly a high impact fireman's carry, I guess.
Exactly.
Just like the.
It's like the old.
It's just like the rock bottom is basically a urinagi, so you can. Yeah.
A bookend.
Hogan's leg drop. Shit like that. Old school stuff.
I wasn't going to go to Hogan's leg drop, but since you brought it out, yeah. Hogan used to.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, ain't it? They were so basic finishing moves back in the day, and it just kind of reminds me of that.
Hogan himself once said that the leg
DDT. Come on. Yeah, it fucked his back up, didn't he?
Yeah, and he said it didn't work as
like the vibrations.
He kept talking about how he has the largest pythons in the world, but then he uses his leg for the finisher. So Kind of.
But not in Japan. He used he used the python in Japan because they're like, that's a leg drop. We don't believe that.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't use that anymore.
Thank you for joining us on the Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In. If you liked that video, please click like and subscribe to our channel for more content from the drive-in. For full episodes of our podcast, please look us up on Anchor or Spotify. Just search for Outlaw Mudshow Drive-In or click the link in the description below. Please feel free to comment, tell us what you think about our discussion, please tell us what you think about us, tell us what you think in general. The world's your oyster. And do us a favor, spread the word. Help us out here. Share. Thank you. We love you. Bye.